What is up, boys? All right, so we got finally, the Elemental Hero, pure Elemental Hero deck list. Okay, so before we get to that, first of all, I do not play in tournaments. I am a dirty Master Duel player, so I kind of had to modify it to fit the TCG a little bit. I do like the Master Duel a little bit more because we can play around with Maxi instead of the Charmies. The Charmies aren't the greatest in my opinion, but since this deck is going second, it's okay. It's okay. And then number three, because of those previous two, you guys should probably check out other people as well, because this deck is more for fun. You can definitely win if you get lucky. If you get the right cards, this deck is actually really powerful. I have beaten some of you guys in our in our weekend streams with this deck. It can be powerful. It can go through some negates, but you do need the right cards to do that. And there are decks that can set up like 5+ negates. After like 4, this deck is done. Like you can really only use the 5 cards or 6 cards in your hand, right? So with that, number 4 is to go check out, or I guess that was still number 3. Go check out other people, right? So the Fit Father does really good competitive deck lists. He actually goes to tournaments, and it's not just pure heroes. It's like a competitive hero, not a pure elemental hero. It's a competitive hero build, right? It's an omni hero deck. And then I'll also post other people that I like watching for hero content, so you guys can check them out. So, all right, that's the intro. Let's go ahead and see. So we're going to break this video down into a couple parts here. And the first one's going to actually be the actual deck list, the counts. There's no side deck here because I don't play TCG. And also the side deck is kind of, it depends on the format, so you guys can probably figure that out. Anyway, so we got 2 Elemental Heroes, and the Elemental Hero Neos is the only vanilla. And for obvious reasons, I think 3 is a brick. I think 1 is too few, because if it does get snatched somehow, like if it gets banished face down, even by Kashtira or something, then you're screwed, because this is the boy in this deck, right? 1 Crosskeeper, I think 1 is also good. Maybe 2 you can get away with. 3 is bricky, because if you just draw these 2 and some spells that get negated, then it's useless, right? Like you're done. At that point. So I used to have Aqua Dolphin in here, but now I only have Dark Panther and Grand Mole, because I do think that the Dolphin, while it provides some utility, this is a going second primarily deck. They already set up their board, so getting stuff with Dolphin isn't the greatest, A. B, also, you don't want to discard stuff unnecessarily in this deck. So that's the only reason. I do feel like those are the only 2 you need. They do play really well with other cards in this deck as well. So we got 3 Ash Blossom, because you have to. If you're going second, you do not want to. You don't want your opponent to set up their board for free, and this prevents them from setting up their board for free. I don't like the hand trap. I think Ash Blossom benefits meta decks more than rogue decks, because the meta decks can play through this very easily, but the rogue decks cannot. So yeah, like I should say, it hurts non-meta decks more than the meta decks. Elemental Hero Stratos, we only got 2. I think 3 is a lot. You can search this. You can straight up just summon it with a Hero Lives. Let me think other reasons. You can search it with Emergency Call, even Shadow Mist. And honestly, so 2 is good. I think 1 you can get away with as well. If they ever made another Elemental Hero that is actually good, you can probably replace a Stratos with it. But right now, since there aren't many, we're kind of stuck with him. So we got the Shadow Mist. This is like a way better version of Stratos, and we'll explain why in a bit. But yes, this is actually really good in this deck. Blaze Man, also really good. This is better than Stratos as well, in my opinion. This deck, these 3 are probably better than Stratos, but obviously, like this is once per turn. Stratos is not once per turn as well, and once per turn. So there are limits, and that's why we put Stratos at 2 instead of 1, where these are just at 1, because these are just once per turn, right? Once you use them, that's it. But Blaze Man to search and to dump, I guess, but you primarily search poly with this. and then Liquid Soldier for the draw 2, or the summon, depending if you're in desperate need. We got 2 or 3 Charmies. It would be 1 Charmy and 2 Max C if it was Master Duel, but I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory there. Wing Kariba level 6, so we just need more unique elemental heroes. I wish he wasn't a light, because there's a lot of light elemental hero monsters. It's like it's gotten to the point where it's not elemental hero, it's just light heroes with Stratos, Liquid Soldier, and the other usual suspects. There's a lot of light monsters, unfortunately. They need to fix that. But free discard off Liquid Soldier and all that stuff. We can explain a little bit here. Spirit of Neos, self-explanatory as well. Searches elemental hero Neos and other cards. Lava Golem is my tech card. We'll explain this in a little bit, but you go in second, you need this, in my opinion. Rainbow Dragon for Rainbow Neos. Nibiru, 2 Nibirus. I think 3 might be too bricky. Also, Nibiru kind of screws you up, which we'll explain in a little bit. 2 Polys, because 1 is too few, 3 is too much, and 2 is just right. As what's her freaking name? The bear chick, the one that was sleeping with bears. I forgot the story. I don't even know. But 2 is good. 2 is good. You can search it pretty easily, and you do need Poly quite a bit in this deck. Reinforcement of the Army. This is just, to be honest, if you see this, you have to search. Crosskeeper, or the updated version of that. I forgot his name. Is it Crosskeeper or Porter? Should be Keeper. You should be using that for Keeper or Porter or whatever. Miracle Fusion. Yes. Search, Sunrise, etc. Searcher, 2 emergency calls. 2 a hero lives. You can probably run 3. I think 2 is good. There's a lot of searching in this deck. And yeah, I think it's good, because if you don't want to see 2 in your hand, and if you run 3, you're probably going to be seeing 2 more often than not in your opening hand, which isn't the greatest. Miracle Contact, because it's a faster favorite contact. It's less powerful, but you can at least play it on your turn. And if you're going second, obviously you need that. Yugioh's Fusion, I tried going without it. You need this. You absolutely need this. 1 Triple Tactics Talent, or 2, depending on your needs. I put 1 in here because I only have 1 in real life, and then I put 2 thrusts. So you can switch that around if you need to, but you're going second, you're going to be using this. 3 EN Engage Neo Spaces. This is good. This is good. It searches, it special summons Spirit of Neos, it searches Poly. It does lock you out into fusion heroes, unfortunately. Or I think it might just be fusion monsters. Yeah, just fusion monsters, not hero. That's actually less restrictive and great. We'll talk about that card in a little bit. Instant Contact. In case you don't have Poly, you can instant contact into Sunrise and get Miracle Fusion that way. So EN Shuffle. This again another searcher. So you can either shuffle into Spirit of Neos or shuffle into Stratos. Those are really your 2 targets right there. And then, like I said, 2 thrust in this one, but you can do 1 thrust and then 2 tactics. That is totally up to you. 1 EN Shuffle. This is also my tech card. I kind of removed it in the Master Duel list, but we only have 1 Call by the Grave in the TCG, so I just put this in here just to make it, to round out the deck. It's a 46 card deck, by the way, which I do think you should be running. You shouldn't be running 40, because you don't want to draw just the Neospatians. You kind of want more filler in here to prevent you from drawing bricks, if that makes sense, because you are running a few bricks, right? Called by the Grave, yeah, like this is, you're going second. They're going to hand trap you, so you should be running this. Then 3 Forbidden Droplets, different sleeves. So I got these from the boy Eric. Dude, shout out, thank you, man. But these came from my collection, so I'm going to be putting them back after, because I didn't have any other copies. But yeah, 3 Forbidden Droplets. Discarding in heroes isn't the worst thing you can possibly do. It kind of benefits you in some cases. And you want a board break as soon as possible. You're going second, right? They're going to set up a board. You want to negate all the 5+ negates that these meta decks are going to be running as soon as possible. So just 3 Forbidden Droplets, and then Favorite Contact. It's less good going second, but chances are you're not going to be finishing up off your opponents in the one turn. So this is good. All right, so the extra deck here, we do have one Aqua Neo, so just in case. I know I said the discard isn't the greatest. Just in case you actually need it, it's there. It's a free instant contact fusion summon away, and also with Flame Wingman, Infernal Rage, you can special summon him for free. Same thing here. You can special summon Grandiose for free with both of those cards I just mentioned. Also, this is a lot better. You can bounce back cards, and you don't want to set up their graveyard, right? You don't want to necessarily even set up their hand, but for the extra deck monsters, bouncing them back to the extra deck, really good, really good. It targets, unfortunately, but you know. Brave Neos, I think we need another card kind of similar to this. We don't have super poly targets, unfortunately, in Elemental Heroes, which doesn't make sense because this is the Supreme King. This is the guy that created Super Poly, bro, and he doesn't have any targets for his deck. It's a travesty, but yeah, we need this could be used as a Super Poly target. We obviously are not running Super Poly because I believe this is like literally the only one that you can use for Super Poly. So yeah, we do need an updated version of this though, because it's too slow, right? It's just too slow. It doesn't have a summoning unsummon effect. It's a battle effect. Elemental Hero Sunrise searches Miracle Fusion, powers up your boys. It's a good time. Neo's Wingman because this is his deck, bro. We're showcasing the Neo's deck. Infernal Rage because like this helps you go into this obviously, but yes, searches favorite contact. It's or when Cribble level 6, you can go into that or search that too, or go into that as well, and then you can also go into the level 7 and below fusion monsters. Core, this is pretty decent. So people don't read in Yu-Gi-Oh, so they try to ram into Core, and they find out real quick that he has an effect where he gets an attack boost when you attack. Besides that, it has a battle effect. When it gets destroyed, he special summons a monster from your graveyard with ignoring the restrictions that heroes have. So it's decent. Also, if you are trying to like deep break your hand, if you have like a whole bunch of cards because of Charmy, it's kind of decent as well. Also with Miracle Fusion, getting a monster out is also doable with him. I think if they ever redo Tempest and he has a good effect, which they should be doing that like ASAP. We can replace him, but it's decent. It's decent. Nebula Neos because it's pretty easy to get into. We can talk a little bit about that in a little bit. Guardian Chimera because he's an honorary hero, unfortunately, because he's just that good. You can again deep break your hand. So Core and Chimera serve the same function essentially, except this one a lot better effect. You can destroy monsters and draw cards. So. Rainbow Neos saves your ass a lot more than you think it will, so you cannot replace them. Like I have tried, guys. This is way too good going second. It just destroys your opponent's field or graveyard. But it destroys their day. We'll go with that. We got Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. Honestly, not the greatest either. I think we need like more Elemental Hero support that is pure Elemental Hero, and it's not just generic Elemental Hero with a little bit better effects that suits Elemental Hero playstyles. But it's not also not the worst, right? It can OTK your opponent. It can get over things. It'll also search if it gets destroyed, and it has to have burn damage. So it's not the worst. It's just with this deck, the deck already has a lot of firepower. It doesn't need more firepower. All right, Neo's Lord. This is really good stalling out, and it's actually, honestly, depending on the deck, it might be better than going into Shining Neos because he just keeps stealing your opponent's cards, and that is super useful in some cases, and also fucking hysterical. But you can summon him from favorite contacts. So this since we're not running Aqua Neos Aqua Dolphin anymore, we cannot even play it. But I would replace this as soon as we get the Thunder Giant Retrain. replace it with him. So it's just like a placeholder. This is Thunder Giant. The retrained Thunder Giant goes here. And the reason why is because his effect is really good. You can special summon him off instant contact, and you can even recycle Elemental Hero Neos. That if you use Elemental Hero Neos to fuse into him, you can recycle him back and then reuse them to go into Infernal Rage. So I do like that. Also, it like nukes the board, and if you're going second, that is amazing. But it's really hard to actually summon Cosmo Neos, especially going second, and it doesn't really. It's a cheese. It's cheesy. It's not that good. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. Wonder Diver, just in case you need to go into it. Infernal Deviser. This would be a Predaplant in Master Duel, by the way, but you need another card in here. You can probably fit another fusion instead. And the reason why we're running only two links is because this deck will lock you into fusions. So yeah. Anyways, that is the deck list. Let's talk a little bit about why these cards are in here. All right, boys, strategy. So we're going to start with the main deck monsters. Obviously, we already talked about this. So Crosskeeper, you do need Crosskeeper because it special summons monsters. And it does help you out in both cases. So it special summons from the hand, and then you can actually activate their effect, or you can special summon from the graveyard, and their effects are negated. Both actually kind of help you out a little bit, depending on the situation. But the free special summon is primarily for Spirit of Neos. So if you see Spirit of Neos in hand, and you have Crosskeeper, obviously summon him. But if you have Spirit of Neos in hand and Reinforcement of the Army, then use Reinforcement of the Army to go into Crosskeeper. Then you can go make your plays that way. If you don't have Spirit of Neos and you have no way of searching him, then you would obviously go for some other hero, right? Or hold off until you can search Spirit of Neos some way, because your deck probably will be able to search him unless it gets negated. The Shadow Mist special summon is irrelevant because you don't have Mass Change, but you could go into anything else to special summon. And then remember, we are playing Chimera, so once you get a body on the field, you can use Poly, Deep Break your hand. You have the monster in the field, and obviously you should have two more in the hand. And to draw two more cards, pop one from their field, and then you still have your normal summon. So this doesn't waste won't waste your normal summon. That's really why we use it. If you don't have Spirit of Neos, it is still useful. And then once it's in the graveyard, you will draw the two, and then kind of deep break your hand that way. So if you do go the Chimera route, you're going to draw two, and then you're going to draw two more later on from Crosskeeper. That's four. That should be enough for you to keep going. If not, then, better luck next time. So why these two? So the Aqua Dolphin, I think, would be better if this isn't a strictly going second deck. You want to go second with this deck because it's there's a lot of cards that have battle phase effects or just battle effects. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of negates or interruptions with pure elemental heroes. Like your only interruptions are probably going to be Shining Neos and favorite contact, depending on what you want to go into, right? So favorite contact to Shining Neos, favorite contact into Evil Hero Lord, or into not Cosmo Neos, what's his name? Nebula Neos. Because all three of those could interrupt your opponent. One negates, one steals their monster, and one pops their back row, pops their field. So depending on what you want to do, you will go with those. But we're going second, right? So it's I think these two are the better ones going second, and they do enable you to go into Nebula Neos, and I think one would be too few, so you do need to run both, because we are reliant heavily on EN Engage Neo Space, and EN Engage Neo Space requires Neospatians. So if you already dumped one of your Neospatians, right, and you do go into turn 4, and you have another EN Engage Neo Space, then you have another target. Or what could possibly happen is EN Engage Neo Space gets the activation gets negated, so you can activate another one, and then you can you still have a target, right? So you don't want to be in a situation where you don't have targets for EN Engage Neo Space. I think 3 would be is overkill, and Aqua Dolphin, because you're going second, isn't the greatest. So that's why we are not including him, and the other ones, Glow Moss sucks. What's the other ones? The Scarab, he boosts himself up. I guess that's situationally good, not the greatest still. And then what's the other ones? The other ones for dude, yeah, the Hummingbird. Yeah, you gain life points. That actually might be decent. Honestly, that might be decent, but not for this build. So Ash Blossom we talked about. It's kind of a necessity. 2 Stratos we also talked about, and I think it's kind of self-explanatory. How you're going to be getting this out is through Crosskeeper with the special summon when he's in your hand. Get that free special summon, free surge. Or we're going to special summon him with a Hero Lives. Usually we use a Hero Lives to go into Stratos, unless we need Poly, and then we go into Blazeman. And then we also can use EN Shuffle. EN Shuffle, the 3 targets to go into to special summon are, I guess, basically in order: Spirit of Neos, Stratos, or Blazeman. So Blazeman or Stratos is definitely like dependent on the situation, but you definitely want to use EN Shuffle for Spirit of Neos. But yeah, I think if you know heroes, you know this. This is just a really good searcher. Also, if you need to, you can destroy the back row. So he's versatile in that regard, which is good. Shadow Mist. This is really, really good just because of EN Engage Neo Space. EN Engage Neo Space, so this effect is you can ditch a Neos in hand or an elemental hero, and then ditch an elemental hero or Neos the opposite. So if you, let's say you ditch elemental hero Shadow Mist from your hand to the graveyard, so you now have to select the Neospatian from your deck to send to the graveyard. If you instead had a Neospatian in hand and ditched it, then you have to send an elemental hero from your graveyard, from your deck to the graveyard. So it depends on what you send. First, from your hand, it's going to be the opposite what you send into the graveyard. But if you have this in hand, obviously, and EN Engage Neo Space, obviously ditch this one. It's going to be a free search. And so you don't lose anything, right? And then if you have a Neospatian and EN Engage Neospace in hand, so if you have this hand, let's see, let's not get lazy here. So if you have this hand right here, you use EN Engage Neospace, send him to the graveyard, or it's usually going to be him, by the way. And then from your deck, you would send Shadow Mist. So you lose nothing, right? You set up your graveyard pretty well. You lose nothing sending Shadow Mist to the graveyard, and then you also get the search. Also, with the way chains work, you can block your opponent from negating the search from Spirit of Neos with Ash Blossom. If you activate Spirit of Neos first, then chain Shadow Mist effect, your opponent's I don't know if there's a technical term for this, but I would call it chain blocking. Your opponent cannot negate Spirit of Neos; they can only negate Shadow Mist. So, depending on what you want to search more, like what you're more desperate to search, you can block your opponent from negating, which is pretty cool. Like, it's a pretty cool tech. I usually forget to do it, but I gotta explain it at least. All right, so that's why we have Shadow Mist in here. It's a free search. It's a good time. Let's see, Blazeman, because usually you're not using his second effect where you set up the graveyard, but you can send Elemental Hero Neos, for example. Then you have an Elemental Hero Neos in the graveyard, so you can activate Instant Contact with its full effect. Also, you do want Neos either in the field, in the hand, or in the graveyard, or removed from play face up. So it does help you out setting up that way. But the primary reason you're going to be using Blazeman is to search Poly. You're either, again, going to summon him with EN Shuffle, with a Hero Lives, depending whether Stratos or Blazeman is better for that situation. If you already have Poly in hand, you should probably go for Stratos. If you already have Stratos, you can already summon Stratos another way. You can probably go with Blazeman because, this searches Poly. Poly is really, really good in this deck. Yeah, that's about it here. Liquid Soldier is good to just draw more cards. It's good. Like, this is one of my favorite heroes. It's in this deck. Its a primary reason is to be used as a fusion material to go into Infernal Rage. That's really it. So you use Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. The best route is to use Liquid Soldier and Elemental Hero Neos to go into Infernal Rage, because you will get so much advantage off that, especially if you have Crosskeeper in the graveyard. So the ideal situation is to have Crosskeeper in graveyard, have Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier and Elemental Hero Neo, some combination. So either on the field, special summon from Spirit of Neos, and then search off Stratos or some other card, or some combination of them. Maybe you had Liquid Soldier in the field, and then you break, so you have Neos in the hand or something, right? Some combination of this. But you do need these to go into Poly, to go into to what's his face, Infernal Rage. Where are you? Right here. If you go this route, you will get the search off him, you will get the draw 2 on him, and you will get the draw 2 on him. So you will have, so draw 2 -1 because you have to discard, draw 2 -1 because you have to put it back, and then a free search of that. You will have 3 new cards, by the way, so you can deep break your hand. This one will, if you have a card that you rather search later on, like for example, if you have Miracle Fusion in hand, you can search it off Sunrise, right? You can use this guy to go into Sunrise and search Miracle Fusion. So you can use Crosskeeper to draw 2, send back Miracle Fusion to the deck, so you can just search it off Sunrise for free. So in that case, you're not going to lose anything. And then with Liquid Soldier, you can discard cards and set up your graveyard. And that's actually why our little furball is here, because it's a free discard. This is a really nice free discard, and he wants to be in your graveyard. He likes it there. He's a masochist, guys. He likes pain and suffering. All right, so that is that. That's why we have Liquid Soldier. Other than that, also, it does help that he's a water. There's not like any good water main deck Elemental Hero monsters, unfortunately. Again, they're called Elemental Heroes, and they primarily have one good attribute, and it's a light. It sucks, but we'll leave these here. I think we'll kind of keep calling them out here. All right, so we got the 3 Charmies. Again, that's self-explanatory. No need to explain. Wing Creeble level 6 is also here, again, because of EN Engage Neo Space. If you have Wing Creeble level 6, you can just ditch it. That's a free discard. Again, he doesn't mind being in the graveyard, like Shadow Mist. If you already use Shadow Mist or whatever, right, like maybe you don't have access to Shadow Mist somehow, then he's your second go-to. And he does help out, believe it or not. So his effect is, when a monster effect is activated, you can send him from the field to the graveyard, pop that card, and then inflict damage to your opponent. It does help, guys. It doesn't negate. I wish it negated. It should have negated, but it doesn't. Like, I'm not the biggest proponent. There's a lot of hero players that are like, oh, we need negates. We need negates. I'm not like that necessarily, but this would have been the perfect opportunity to put a good negate on a hero card. They didn't do it, though. But yes, once he's in the if he's in the hand or the graveyard, you can banish 1 fusion elemental hero monster from your field or graveyard, and then special summon him. So typically what you do is this. So you go into Infernal Rage. If you already have him somehow, so okay, we'll do the ideal play. So you have this in hand, right? So you go into, so you use Poly, you fused him, you have him in hand, you draw 2, so whatever the 2 cards you get here, and then you ditch him, so it's a free discard. We'll put it here. So this is your graveyard, this is used up. You have special summon Infernal Rage, so this is your field. And then you get a free search off this. You already drew these 2 cards and discarded this. So you have another card. Well, it's going to be Favorite Contact, most likely, but we'll just say this is now your hand, 3 new cards. And now that you have this on field, you tribute him because you used Elemental Hero Neos. That's a normal monster. To go into, what's his face? Sunrise. Now, Sunrise will give you Miracle Fusion, so you're going to get 4 new cards. And then you will banish Infernal Rage from Wing Creeper level 6, because it doesn't matter. You can use Favorite Contact and with the spell that's kind of like Favorite Contact. and you can use the banishment basically, right? So now you have two monsters on the field. This is in the banishment. You're setting up for Shining Neos, and you have 4 new cards. Which, so again, this is going to be Miracle Fusion, and then Favorite Contact, and then the 2 random cards that you drew. So maybe we should do some combos, because this is that's kind of confusing here without actually going full in on the combo. But that's why we used a little furball, guys. He is good. He could have been better. But he isn't bad either. So, all right. So we'll keep this there. This is really, by the way, this is what you want to go into. So we're always gonna keep these in hand here, because that's the ideal situation that you want to be in. So Rainbow Dragon, this is for Rainbow Neos. We'll explain a little bit more when we get to Rainbow Neos. Spirit Neos, we already talked a little bit about it with Stratos, right? We're going to use EN Engage Neo Space to go into him, or Crosskeeper to go into him, or yes, the EN Shuffle. This card is really good. So his effects are, you can special summon him from the hand if you get attacked. And then once he's special summoned, you can search a card that references Elemental Hero Neos from your deck. And his other effect is, if it was special summoned from your hand when your opponent attacks, then it cannot be destroyed by battle. So it stalls out. It's pretty decent. It does enrage some people, I would imagine, but his primary focus is to search. And so when you summon him, you're probably going to be using EN Engage Neo Space, because it summons him directly from the deck. And this already gives you Poly for free as well. So what you would do is, after you summon him and get your Poly, usually so it's very dependent on the situation. But since you're going second, I would assume most situations would involve going into Neos Fusion to break their board with Rainbow Neos. But there are other cards, like if you want to keep going and extending your plays, you can use EN Shuffle to even shuffle Neos to go into Stratos, right? Or shuffle another hero to go into another hero. But you can search. So what you can search here is the good searches are going to be the spells and traps, right? So you can go into either Miracle Contact, Neos Fusion. You can go into Instant Contact. You can go into EN Shuffle, EN Wave, and Favorite Contact. So depending on the situation, you can search any of those cards. Really, really good. Honestly, like really, really good. The only reason we only play one is because he's a high-level monster, and he's going to be more bricky. It's going to be more bricky the more copies of him you use. So Lava Golem, oh my god, this guy is so good. So we're going to talk about Lava Golem and Nibiru together here. So the reason why Lava Golem is we're going second, right? And your opponent's going to be setting up a huge board. Nibiru is there to prevent them from extending too far, but again, meta decks nowadays, they don't care about Nibiru. They will just keep going. So Lava Golem is there just to destroy an already established board. The other thing is, if you use Nibiru, it's actually kind of terrible, because so let's say we're going second. The opponent is spitting out their field is full of jizz, and so you drop the Nibiru, get rid of everything, and they keep going. Then now it's your turn, and you have Nibiru on field, and you are like, hell yeah, man! I drew a hero lives. I can get a free special summon. Well, no, you actually can't, because you have a monster on the field now. So Nibiru actually kind of will it cucks you in a way later on on your turn, and this is a really, really good extender, and you don't want to get cucked. So I do think going into having 2 Nibirus and 1 Lava Golem is kind of ideal, and the amount of times Lava Golem actually saved me compared to Nibiru, I think is actually kind of increasing. Like, it's getting better the more I use it, right? Obviously, I wasn't using it before, so now that I'm using it, I'm seeing how useful Lava Golem is compared to Nibiru. Also, the fact that it prevents you from normal summoning isn't the worst thing, right? You can special summon quite easily here with this deck, and it does hurt you. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's not that bad. Okay, so that is that. Both of these are very necessary, by the way, because again, you're going second, and your opponent is going to, yeah, they're going to do stuff. Poly is self-explanatory. I think we already talked about reinforcement of the army. You go into Crosskeeper. Miracle Fusion is there to extend your plays. This is Search Stuff Sunrise. The Emergency Call is just a free search. 2 a hero lives. You can probably do 3, like I said, but this is you. If you use Nibiru, you don't want to see this in hand because it's going to be kind of useless. Miracle Contact is okay. So this is. You're going second. Favorite contact is too slow if you're going second. If you're going first, this is good, right? So if you lose a coin toss and your opponent's like, you go first, you at least have favorite contact to not lose. Or if you go into turn 3 and 4, right, you can use favorite contact to interrupt your place. It's still useful, but miracle contact, if you're going second, is more useful because you can summon your monsters quicker that you would normally need favorite contact to go into, and yeah, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It's basically the same card as favorite contact. It doesn't use the same. It doesn't have the exact same effects, but it's similar enough. Neo's Fusion. So yes, Neo's Fusion is just literally just because of this guy, Rainbow Neos. You want to use Neo's Fusion to go into Rainbow Neos, but also what you could do is go into Neo's Lord with it, and Neo's Lord is pretty decent as well. The other ones are not the ideal targets for this. You can, I guess technically you can use it for Shiny Neos, but you need the board set up, and yeah, the 2 ideal summonings are Rainbow Neos and Neo's Lord, to be honest. And you're probably going to go into Rainbow Neos more often than not. And so again, you're going second. You need creative ways to break their board. And this is a creative, I mean, that's not that creative in Heroes, but you need a way to break their board. Triple Tactics Talents, again, I think 2 might be better, but I only have the 1 copy, so one talent, and it is just to draw more. Or I guess if you want to seal their monster, use it as a fusion summon for Chimera. That's also pretty decent. Ian Engage Neo Space. We already talked about this card by talking about the other cards, but I want to say some stuff about this card. So this card is really good in exactly how cards should be designed. I do think Elemental Heroes are the most balanced archetype. There are some outliers, like I think Plasma is the more we get into, the more cards get released and it's easier to set up a board. Plasma is becoming a little bit more powerful because it prevents your opponent from playing monsters, essentially. And then with Dark Law as well, right, it prevents them from setting up their graveyard. And the more support heroes get, the easier it is to summon those cards, so the more degenerate they become. I understand that, but for the most part, like, we'll even take Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier has 2 pretty decent effects, but you can only activate 1 per turn. We have Fiendsmith with Engraver. He has 3 really good effects, and you can activate all 3 in 1 turn. The heroes are exactly how every card should be designed. There should be limits. It shouldn't just be like, oh, I can take a pile of good cards, randomly put them in a table, and make a deck, because that is kind of what Yu-Gi-Oh is becoming. If I'm going to be honest, there's no real creativity. You have like 20 hand traps and some kind of engine, and then like 3 cards of an archetype that you like. And then you call it like let's say you like Snake Eyes, right? You can do Snake Eyes Fiendsmith with generic hand traps. Like, that's just a weird fucking combination that shouldn't work. But back to EN Engage Neo Space. This blocks you in. This is a really good card. It searches Poly and also retrieves it from the graveyard, depending on the situation. You either get it from the graveyard or you just get it from the deck. So its effect. Right, we already kind of talked about it. You ditch a Neospatian or Elemental Hero, and then you from your hand, and then you ditch one from your deck of the one that you did, the opposite one. Then you get a free Poly from deck or graveyard, and you can special summon a monster that references Elemental Hero Neos in its name or a Neospatian. So or I think it's actually just a level 5. Let's just read it. Send one Neospatian monster and one Elemental Hero monster, one from your hand, one from your deck to the graveyard. Special summon one Neospatian monster or one level 5 or higher Elemental Hero monster, which is just either going to be the vanilla one or the Spirit of Neos. Those are the only good targets, unfortunately, from your deck. And if you do add one poly from your deck or graveyard to your hand, if you special summon Elemental Hero Neos by this effect against 1,000 attack, you can have special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. Very, very good restriction here. The turn you activate this card. Okay, so because you are searching from your deck or getting something from your graveyard, this actually gets hit by a lot of hand traps. So it's going to get negated more often than not, which is unfortunate. And it locks you into fusion monsters. So it does set up your board. It searches a really key card in this deck, and then if you go into Spirit of Neos, you get more searches. The fact that it does all that also set up your graveyard, by the way. If you use Shadow Mist, you get another search. That's like 3 searches right there. Set up your graveyard, so that you get 5 positive effects off just one card. And the restriction, I think, while it sucks because other decks don't have restrictions, it's needed. And it's balanced in that regard. If this was a meta deck, it would not have that restriction, by the way. But just so you know, this card gives you a lot of benefits. It gives you a lot of you go plus with this card, but you are locked into fusion summons, and that's it. So yes, instant contact. This is just to either get a body on the field, or if you have Elemental Hero Neos in the graveyard, you can summon a level 7 or below monster, and it actually gains its effect. So I guess we can also read this. So you can pay 1,000 life points, special summon a level 7 or lower Elemental Hero or Neospatian monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and then while Elemental Hero Neos is either in the field or in the graveyard, its effects are not negated. So let's say you use instant contact to go into Sunrise, which is typically what you're probably going to be doing, and you don't have Neos anywhere in the field or the graveyard, its effects is negated. You don't want to do that. But if you do have Neos in the graveyard or in the field, and you summon him, then his effect is negated. So that's what you do. That's what you want to do. You don't want to get a card that has its effect negated, and then it gets shuffled into the deck, I believe, at the end of the turn if you don't have Elemental Hero Neo. So you do want Neos in the graveyard. Ian Shuffle, we already talked about. It's the way it works is you have either a Neospatian or an Elemental Hero monster, and you shuffle it back into the deck, and then you can special summon either a Neospatian or an Elemental Hero monster from your deck, directly from your deck, but it can't be the same one you shuffled in. So you typically use this if you have like a Neospatian in hand, for example, like you bricked, right? Let's say this is your hand plus other cards you can't really use. You use your normal summon, unfortunately, then you use Ian Shuffle him back into the deck, and then you get Spirit of Neos or Stratos, depending on what you want to do. Again, Spirit of Neos is probably the better option, but yes, that's that. All right, Triple Tactics Thrust, self-explanatory. Ian Shuffle, this is my tech card, so it's not that good. It's how do I explain it? I feel like this video is too long, so I'm going to rush a little bit here. So Ian Shuffle is really, really good, but the current state of the deck, it doesn't help you, if that makes sense. So what Ian Shuffle does is if your Elemental Hero monster is used for material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or banished, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Neospatian monster or Elemental Hero Neos from your deck, directly from your deck. If a Neospatian monster or Elemental Hero Neos you control or in your graveyard is shuffled into the deck or extra deck, you can special summon one Elemental Hero monster from your graveyard. So it helps you out in 2 ways, right? If you have this in the field and you use Poly to go, you use this play, right? You summon Infernal Rage, so now you summon him, you use Elemental Hero Neos as a material. Now you can actually put in a free Neospatian in the field. That doesn't help you too much. It sets up your board, but since you're going to be locked from Link summoning if you use Ian Engage Neo Space already, it doesn't help you out too much, right? Like having a Neospatian on the board, it only helps you going into, like, it helps you summon Cosmo Neos, if you are using him, a little bit easier, or Nebula Neos a little bit easier. It sets up your field and graveyard with Neospatians to go into fusion summon place. And then the other effect is if you shuffle an Elemental Hero Neos or a Neospatian into the deck from the graveyard or the field, then you can special summon an Elemental Hero monster from your graveyard. But that's also not that good because the only good target is going to be Stratos. That's the only target that gets an effect because you're going to be. This doesn't get an effect when it's special summoned. If Blazeman is in your graveyard, you probably already activated its effects to hard once per turn. If Shadow Mist is in your graveyard, you probably already activated the graveyard effect, so it's also once per turn. There's no good target, is what I'm trying to say. But if there ever is more Elemental Hero main deck monsters that have similar effects to Stratos or effects that that aren't popped as soon as possible, I guess, then this card is going to be good. I took it out of my deck in Master Duel recently for another Called by the Grave. So if the TCG ever gets Called by the Grave at 2, ditch this for Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave for hand traps. Forbidden Droplet is just there because you want to break their board as soon as possible. And we have Favorite Contact in there, by the way, but we already kind of talked about it with Miracle Contact. Okay, so to finish off here, we are going to do the extra deck. And we already talked about most of these cards, actually. But so Sunrise is just going to be there for Miracle Fusion and Extending, but it does help out with beefing up your monsters. You can use it to get over cards, and it also has the pop effect. So if another Elemental Hero monster attacks, you can destroy one card on your opponent's field. Actually, I guess technically it's on any field, but you're not going to destroy your own cards. Let's see. So this is going to be the new Lightning Thunder Giant, and that's going to nuke the board. That's going to be really good. Neo's Lord is there to stall. So if your opponent thinks that they're about to win, or they have cards that negate activated effects, you can special summon him, and your opponent cannot get through. His effect, where he can be destroyed by battle or card effect, is an inherent effect. It's not activated, so you can stall out that way. And if your opponent has powerful monsters, you can keep sealing them as they're setting up their board, or on summon as well, right? This is really, really good against Yubel decks, and really, really good against Blue Eyes decks, by the way. You just keep stealing their cards and stall out until you get enough advantage. We already talked about this card. It's okay. It's okay. It's not that bad. Rainbow Neos, depending on the situation, you're either going to shuffle back their graveyard, their back row, or their monsters, right? And it does trip out a lot of decks because if they don't have many cards left in their hand after their turn is done, because again, you're going second, then you're going to be sending back. If you send back their whole graveyard, you can potentially send back, since you're sending back everything, right? The potential of them drawing a brick hand trap goes up because you reshuffle their whole deck, and it's really fun to see because you could potentially get your opponent to a situation where they can't do shit. Guardian Chimera, we already talked about. Core, we talked about. Nebula Neo. So this guy does come in handy in many ways. His effect is you can target one card on the field, negate its effect until the end of the turn, and then on summon, depending on how many cards your opponent controls. So if they control 5, you will draw that same amount. So you will draw 5 cards. Crazy shit. Really easy to summon in this deck. Neo's Wingman, Shining Neo's Wingman is really, really good. It's just there to break the board. It stalls out a little bit as well. Burn damage, stuff like that. Brave Neos is just here just in case you do break and you go into instant contact and you have a way to kind of destroy a monster to pop his effect. You can get a free search off it. It's still bad, but it can help you out, and that's why it's in here. Grandiose just to send back cards, and so on and so forth. I think we talked about these cards in the combos already, and they're kind of self-explanatory in the extra deck, but that is the video. Oh my god, 50 minutes, man. Maybe I should have not done it this way, but I had to explain all these cards. I think I like it's long, but I might like this a little bit more than the videos I've seen with just generic combos, because I do talk about the combos, right? But I talk why each card has to be here, and I think that's a little bit better because you guys will learn about it and then make it your own deck, right? Instead of just copying and pasting this deck and, oh, monkey see, monkey do. I know the combos now. I do this, I do that. No, like, you know you need a liquid soldier. You know you need at least at least one Stratos, etc., etc. But yes, that is the first deck list on the channel. We might update this and it'll be shorter, but yes, that's it. Peace out. Big thank you to the channel members, Eric Moreno and Burn My Dread. You guys rock.